And Jalen, good to see you again. And look, something went down on yesterday's show. If you watched it, you saw it, and you lived it. If not, you may have heard about it. We want to address it. In the course of a conversation about Russell Westbrook being a point guard, Jalen went in pretty hard on Skip's high school basketball stats. If you missed it, listen.
The positions were only created so a novice could follow the game. Just because you're a power forward, that doesn't make you physical. Just because you're a shooting guard, that don't mean you can jack up threes. That's just
what were
a
you,
position.
Jalen? What were you?
What were you? Did you
what were you?
Did you average 1.4 points as a senior in high school?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so all of that Pistol Pete stuff, Pistol Pete Jr.
Okay, well, we'll address that later. We're going to.
Don't ignore that. Did you play junior?
Yeah.
Did you play JV as a junior?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll follow
you. What were you?
Okay.
What were you? What was your position?
I had no position. I have
you
no
were
game.
a point guard.
I have no game.
You were a point guard.
I have no
Am I right?
All right, look, we're a debate show, and that means we take on hot topics. We run from nothing, and we want to dive into this. It took on a life of its own yesterday on the internet. We have only one rule here, and that is authenticity. We need to make sure that the viewers at home realize when they turn on the TV, what they're seeing is genuine. And what happened yesterday happened organically, and it is out there. Jalen's back. No one's told you what to say. We have no idea where you're going with this. But what we want to do is after you look at that, what's your reaction? Do you still stand by the way you approach that?
We're a debate show,
as
you mentioned. We're not a reality show. And it's up to us to say what's in our head, say what's in our heart as it relates to topics. What normally happens when you debate, whether you're at a barbershop or whether you're on ESPN First Take, sometimes the debate can get personal based on the person's tone. So if I hear somebody saying something negative about me to attack my credibility as a person and as a player, something that I invested 20 years in playing middle school, high school, college, pro, I'm invested in this. Like, my father was the #1 pick, God rest his soul, in the 1967 draft. Like, I dedicated my life to basketball. So if I feel like somebody wants to cross the line and challenge how I feel about the game, I study this, I do this, I took it personal. And that's what happened yesterday in our debate. I did take it personal, and I'm pretty sure he took it personal how I responded. It was a trending topic on Twitter. A lot of people were talking about it.
It was hot.
And, but as we mentioned, this isn't the Maury Povich show. I'm not an actor. I wasn't, you know, I don't have a hand up my back of somebody telling me what to say, and we just went there.
Yeah.
You and I talked about this after the show, and I told you I was offended only because you leaped to a conclusion based on what you read out in the Twitter sphere or blogosphere.
Right.
And this all began, as you now know, with a tweet of mine of, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago that was 100% accurate, but thanks to the 140 character limit, was about 5% of the real story, which, again, you and I shared yesterday. You shared some stories with me that were similar on your much higher level. And I only talk about this because now my integrity and credibility have been questioned by many of my Twitter followers. Did you exaggerate this? Nope. Did you lie about it? Absolutely not.
For those that may not have seen the tweets, try to, I know it's tough, but what was your original tweet?
Okay, the original tweet began with, and again, this is 3 sentences and 140 characters.
It's tough.
I thought twice about doing a second and third tweet to expand upon the topic because it's a much deeper story to me. It's my nightmare story.
Right.
It's in fact what propelled me to sit in this seat. The frustration that was caused to me in my high school career propelled me to become a member of the media and talk about basketball. So it's the basis of why I'm here.
Okay.
But the original tweet began that in 9th grade, I was asked to go to a big basketball camp, area statewide, that was run by the Iba family of Henry Iba fame at Oklahoma State, the mentor to Bobby Knight.
Legendary coach.
Legendary. I won MVP of that camp. Many kids who went on to play at high levels in Division I. And I thought I was Pistol Pete Maravich, as you said. I was probably more, what'd you call it, Water Pistol Pete? I probably exaggerated in my head just how good I was. But I thought I was pretty good.
I think at some point or another, we're all guilty of that.
We're all guilty. So then I go to play for a legendary coach in high school.
At a big program.
At the biggest school in the state, Northwest Classen High School in Oklahoma City. And he hated my game. He didn't like me. I was a three-point shooter and a gunner before there was even a three-point line. He wanted me to be a point guard, and I felt like I didn't have the aptitude nor the desire to distribute the basketball. I didn't get it. I don't have the gift that you had. You could definitely run the point. You could score too, but you had the feel for the game, the vision to anticipate when a player's coming up. I had zero of that. So I went through a nightmarish sophomore year in which we won the state championship. I went through a nightmarish junior year in which the coach forced me, as you pointed out yesterday, to play, we called it B squad, forced me to play B squad to learn to be the point guard, then suit up and play the varsity game at night.
Right.
I went into my senior year thinking, finally, I got my shot. I'm going to be the guy coming up next year. And what happens the first day of school? I look up, and my legendary coach has transferred in his son from Southeast High School on the south side to play for him.
Wow.
And I did start for that team, but not for long, because the coach's son was soon the guy. I played a lot that year, but I lived in fear of even taking a shot in a game. When you hit me with the stat, I looked it up last night, I think it was 1.8. I was shocked it was that high because I can barely remember taking shots in games. All I did was do what Henry Iba wanted. You feed the post. I fed our postmen who went to Kansas State on scholarship and University of Houston on scholarship, and they were really good players. But I would start to shoot and hesitate. I was scared to death. So by 2/3 through the season, I got in his doghouse again. I clashed, I rebelled, into bench. That was the end of my career. That's exactly what happened to me, and it killed me. It was the worst experience of my sports life.
Do you know how many players, high school, college, and pro, can have that story? So imagine how they feel when you're on national TV for 4 hours a day and you're talking about the plight of their life on a national forum, but they don't have a chance to tell their story.
Yep.
And also what has happened in
Okay, well, you had a similar occurrence.
Right, but also what has happened in media is the line has been blurred between a reporter and an analyst. Now reporters are analysts. An analyst normally is somebody that has experience that have done something.
Let's clarify something. Skip was a columnist.
And a reporter.
Yeah, I mean, you
for
started
years.
as a reporter,
Oh.
right? I mean, it's not as though you don't know the beats of being a reporter. But technically, when you go from being beat reporter to columnist, you're now not writing so much about the unfolding of the game. Now he is being paid to analyze the game and to opine and to write the way he sees the game. So it's not as if...
So, wait a second. Are you suggesting that you have to have played at a high level to...
No, not at all. If that was the case, then a lot of women wouldn't be able to report in sports because they don't have certain pro sports for women.
Sure.
So that's out. But what I am saying is, this is why I got into it. Mass communications was my major in college. This will be my 10th year covering the NBA Finals. Done NFL, done boxing. I've never been in a 15-round fight.
Right.
So I get that. Mm-hmm. But what happens is, there's a difference between reporting what you reporting what you see and name calling. Like when you name call, that makes it personal. Bosh Spice, Queen James.
Now, time out. No,
Now that crossed the line.
I don't do Queen James. I've never done Queen James.
It's Prince James.
Prince James.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay, but I invited anybody, including you, to come sit there and let's talk this out. Did Chris Bosh come and sit there? Did he? Yes.
But
yes.
you got to take their side of it. Them coming to sit here really validates you. It really validates your show because you talk negative about me. I've seen countless athletes, and I talked to Charles Oakley about this. I've seen countless athletes come on this show after their teammate or their good friend got ripped. And that's how people see it from the outside looking in. Oh, he doesn't like Michael Vick, so he's going to pump up LaShawn McCoy. Oh, he doesn't like LeBron James, so now it's all about Dwayne Wade. Oh, he loves Kevin Durant,
Jalen.
so now we're going to get all over.
Let's bring in Stephen A. Stephen A., go ahead, make a point.
Jalen, Skip Bayless, I need y'all to be quiet and listen to me. Because let me tell you something right now. I'm disgusted with both of y'all. I can't believe this is even a subject. Both of y'all are my friends. Both of y'all I've known for many years. Skip Bayless as a colleague, Jalen Rose, I'm proud of you. There are many times that many people have said stuff about you. I know that you are a baller, but I also know what kind of person that you are, and I also know the great things that you do in the city of Detroit and all of that other stuff. And I'll vouch for both of y'all characters. But the fact that this is even a subject has me so completely disgusted with y'all. If I was alone with y'all off camera, I might slap both of y'all. And I mean that affectionately, of course, because y'all would probably beat me down if I did such a thing. But let me be very serious about where I'm coming from here. Skip Bayless, you have been a journalist and a columnist for over 30 years. You were a columnist in San Jose. You were a columnist for the Los Angeles Times. You were a columnist for the Chicago Tribune. You were a columnist for the Los Angeles Times. You don't have anything to prove to anybody about your resume. Tell them people to go kick rocks. You've earned it, okay? That's number one, all right? Number two, all right, with you, Jalen, yeah, I understand stuff gets personal and all of this other stuff, but let's talk to this other side about athletes. And we're not talking about you here. We're talking about the modern-day athlete. They can get a bit sensitive. There's a lot of stuff that they can't take. What about the contemporaries within the athletic world that talk about each other, that run to reporters behind the scenes, literally giving us information to talk about their own colleagues? Nobody brings that up. Nobody brings up the fact that these same guys that talk all of this smack, that get all sensitive, actually want to come and do what we're doing when all is said and done. Number three, did you question Howard Cosell when he didn't box? Did you question Bob Costas when he didn't play baseball? Did you question Jeff Van Gundy or Stan Van Gundy when they never played the game?
That's a different type of
media. There are a plethora of individuals in the world of sports. Hold on.
That's a different type of media, Steve.
In the world of sports.
That's a different type. We live in a media cycle
I'm
now
not debating that.
where they're talking heads 24/7, 365.
I let you talk. Let me talk. What I'm saying is I'm not disputing that. All I'm trying to say to you is that there are plenty of people who want to come here and do what we do. Now, you've got people that are professional athletes that sit there and say, well, you know what, a journalist, you're giving your opinions, your name calling or whatever the case may be, which is something I don't name call, but they say, oh, you know what, this is what they do. Well, guess what? Why do they want to do this job? Because they want to get paid, and behind these very contemporaries and colleagues' backs, they go and they do the same thing. It's hypocrisy. So when you look at the Twitter world or anybody else and any of the things that they have to say, tell them to go kick rocks, because really what they want to do is they want to do what we're doing, and because they're not in this position to do what they're doing, they got a problem. You know how many people want your job, Galen, that's working in the NBA right now, that's playing in the NBA, that are starving to come for your job so they can whine, moan, and do the same kind of things. They talk about me all the time. All right, I went to Winston-Salem State. I didn't play much, cracked my kneecap in half my first year, but I learned the game from Big House Gaines. I learned the game from John McClendon, two names that were responsible for integrating the sport of basketball. And then when I became a journalist, I learned from John Chaney, and then after that, I covered Larry Brown every day for 7 years. That's Big House Gaines, John McClendon, John Chaney, and Larry Brown. I don't care what anybody has to say, and neither should y'all. Stop worrying about the Twitter world. Tell them to go kick rocks. If we weren't on television, I'd show you what to say to them, okay? If you could get my drift. Stop worrying about all of that nonsense. We are here doing what we do. If they don't like it, get over it. We ain't here to make friends. We're here to tell it like it is. Let's move on.
I want you guys to understand something,
Stop wasting our time with this nonsense.
This is a national forum, and when you talk about somebody's character, when you talk about their game, when you question their integrity, that's their likeness. That's how they eat. That's how they feed their family. And, Stephen, I'm going to give you an example because it's all love. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example. How do you think Kwame Brown feels when you say Kwame? How do you think Rasho Nesterovic feels when you say Rasho? How do you think Tiago Splitter feels when you say his name that way? Do I get to
answer this, or are these rhetorical questions?
Sure, go ahead.
Do I get to answer it, or are they just rhetorical questions?
Go ahead.
Let me tell you something right now. Kwame, all right, I'm going to tell you why I say Kwame Brown or Rasho Nesterovic, Slava Medvedenko. I'll tell you why. Because you're Kwame Brown. You're 7 feet tall. You're the #1 overall draft pick, okay? Jalen Rose came into this league. Reggie Miller came into this league, a plethora of other individuals that understood the privileged position that they were in. You come into this league, you came in without a jump shot. You came in without the ability to rebound. You came in without the ability to do nice footwork, to pass, to rebound, to defend, to score points, or whatever the case may be. And it's a decade later, and you're still that dude. You've never worked and put forth your due diligence in order to take advantage of the privilege opportunity that you were in. And when I see that level of consistency as it pertains to an aptitude, I'm going to call somebody out. I saw you come here at ESPN, Jalen. I didn't see you do anything differently. I see you on SportsCenter all over the place. If a dude is playing like garbage, you don't sit there and point out he's playing like garbage.
Of course
you don't
I
sit
do,
there and point out how he's not living up to expectation.
I don't want to get away from what we're talking about because that's what makes this.
Oh,
great.
I'm staying on the point. I'm right here.
But
right here.
There's a difference between reporting what you see in the box score at the game or calling someone a scrub. Like, if I make.
But he is a scrub.
Not if he's a scrub.
And you know it.
Kwame Brown may be a scrub compared to Shaquille O'Neal, but it's only 450 jobs in the NBA. So for him to play
that's who we're comparing
So now your job is to be the defender of the league and protector of the players?
My job is to be a realist. And there are 30 teams, there are 15 jobs.
And it's not ours.
And if he's able to maintain one of those jobs for 10 years, there's no way he can be a scrub.
Relatively, he's a scrub.
No,
What?
No, he
What?
can't be.
Did you just say that with a straight face? Did you just say that with a straight face?
Do you guys realize that somebody's paying him millions of dollars to play basketball?
Unfortunately, they are.
Jalen, answer my question.
Why do you think the guy that's 10 through 15 on the bench is able to have a long career?
Answer my question.
He's got to have some
Jalen,
skill set.
Skip,
But I think they're
Skip.
saying
Jalen
relative to the other players, they would be in the bottom tier of the professional basketball players.
But he's at the top tier of the world at what he does.
Stephen A. is not going to stop till you answer it. So go ahead, Stephen A.
Hello, Jalen. Jalen Rose, star, All-American in high school, member of the Fab Five, 2 straight national championship game appearances as a freshman and then a sophomore. Goes to Indiana, has a 13-year career, gets paid a $93 million contract, played in the finals, can ball. You trying to tell me that you don't know a scrub when you see a scrub? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That everybody in the NBA can play? Are you sitting there with a straight face and you're saying to me that everybody in the NBA can play?
Who are we comparing them to? Who are we comparing them to?
I'm just saying we're comparing them to the NBA.
If you're going to compare Slava Medvedenko to Hakeem Olajuwon, he doesn't have a chance.
You should
if you're going to compare me to Magic Johnson,
you should be ashamed of yourself, Jalen. That's ridiculous.
But everybody has naysayers, Stephen A. And so what would my naysayers say?
Hold on, no. We're talking
anything.
fact.
What is he talking about? He's no Magic Johnson.
All right.
He doesn't
keep
know
talking.
anything.
Okay,
keep talking.
It works both ways.
Okay. So
we speak in fact. If you 7 feet tall, 270 pounds, you trying to tell me there is not some dudes in the NBA that's there strictly because of their size?
What about
you got
Brian
people that's being
Scalabrine?
utilized all day long that can't play.
You think Brian Scalabrine is in the league because he gonna play tomorrow? That's not why he's in the league. It's more to it than what.
Well, we don't talk about Brian Scalabrine.
But let me give you an example.
So what are you saying about Brian Scalabrine?
You don't have to be a dentist to be able to see good teeth. But if you're going to build a house, you're going to go hire a contractor because you don't know the ins and outs of everything. So the 450 men that are in the NBA are positioned for a reason. And we're talking about people wanting our jobs. It's smaller in the NBA. There are radio shows, there are TV shows, there are networks all across the country, all across the world.
Okay, but bottom line, you're suggesting that Stephen A. and I should not have the right. We don't deserve to have opinions on this show.
You absolutely have a right to have an opinion. That's no different than anybody covering sports.
This is the,
it's not
this is the entertainment business. Opinions feed this beast.
It doesn't get too personal, though.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's
one thing to talk about Russell Westbrook and his style of play. It's another thing to say Kevin Durant has a problem with him and he should take a lie detector. Like, that's way different. They're friends.
Jalen Rose.
So how does his friends and his fans and his family take that? That's all I'm saying.
I don't care how they do. He should have a problem with it.
But see, that's the point.
That's my
the
opinion.
point that you mentioned is that you should care.
Why?
You should care.
I'm a Thunder fan. I love Kevin Durant.
But I'm a fan of the Detroit Lions. But I'm not going to just say a guy sucks and I don't care what his family thinks. Like, that's crossing the line.
Hey, well, you just said they're getting paid. I don't know what's Russell Westbrook make. He got his max contract.
Based on
he's getting paid for this.
So based on what you're getting paid means that you could disrespect me?
He's out in the public domain, man. He is an all-star.
That means I have to be disrespected by you because of what my job pays me?
I don't disrespect him. I just say he shoots too much. Is that personal?
No.
Hello.
Stop. That is
do I get to say
disrespectful how it
something?
goes. You should have been in the studio, man.
I know that. I know that. And I wish that I was. Here's all I'm going to say. Jalen Rose, you are absolutely right in terms of, okay, you don't want to cross the line in terms of being disrespectful. I certainly care about somebody's family and things of that nature. But trust me when I tell you this. I'm going to say what I believe in terms of whether a dude can play or not. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to do it without compunction. I'm not going to give 2 cents about what you or anybody think. And by the way, I'm not going anywhere. A matter of fact, I'm going to be in the locker room. I'm going to be at the game. And I'm going to look around when I say something. I'm going to be like, yeah, that was me. I said it. And guess what, Jalen? When I do that, you will still have dudes that played in the NBA just like you did, wanting to come up here and get my job and sit there and do what they do. Some of them don't have a degree. They certainly ain't as educated. They can't articulate and elocute themselves the way that I can. They don't have a journalistic background.
But that's
they
a
don't
different
do. Hold on.
audience.
They don't do.
A former player gets hired to be an analyst.
What I do. So
like,
let's be
that's a
clear.
different job.
No, I let you talk. Jalen. My point is, that's what it's going to be about. Now, you can sit there and whine and moan, and
I'm
everybody
not whining
else
about
can.
anything.
It ain't changing anything.
No,
it's going to be the way it's going to be. Get over it, because I've been coming. I'm going to continue to come. Skip's been coming. He's going to continue to come. And people just need to get over that, because we're not going anywhere. Enough of this. Let's just change the subject, because it ain't going to change. This is ridiculous.
So,
let's move on.
So what about the notion that if you attack or assassinate my character, and I'm a player, I'm an entertainer, I'm an actor or whatever, am I allowed to now call you on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Kevin Durant called me on it.
So
sure.
So basically, if you're gonna say, I don't work hard, I'm soft, I don't have a good attitude, how would you take it if?
Where did that information come from, Jalen?
No, I'm not talking about
Where does it
me.
come from, Jalen?
I'm just giving an example of a player. Like, the media do this all of the time. That's what they do. If a player is out
but
for
the
a
media
game,
gets the information from somewhere.
When somebody,
If coaches and players and colleagues are telling you that information, you can't just act like the analyst just came up there and bloviated that out of his mouth. The people who are close to these guys, who are inside those walls, are leaking this information.
All right, look, this
to
is really
reporters.
good.
What about them?
Stephen A.
but there's one more point, though. There's one more point. And
Well, here's what I want to do. Hold that thought. This is so good, it needs to continue.